Hello, good afternoon. I'm upstairs in my son's room because my object for the object lesson today, if you want to call it that, is a keyboard. Now, this keyboard is a special keyboard. It's a keyboard that is probably 20 years old, 25 years old. It is a keyboard that I practiced on when I was learning piano, and we were traveling around from church to church, and I would sit in the middle of the back seat. I put this piano, it's like a 5 octave piano. I put this piano on my lap. It runs on, I think it runs on D batteries. It can. And I used to sit there and I used to practice. And my mom would be in the back seat of this Pontiac Bonneville next to me. And I'd practice for 30 minutes or whatever, an hour. And then we'd stop, switch people around. So my sisters were taking lessons too. And we just practiced in the back of the seat of the car because we were traveling a lot and we weren't home often enough to practice on a regular basis. And so this piano has a lot of nostalgia for me, and my parents have carried it around from Pennsylvania to Ireland, back to Pennsylvania to South Carolina, and several years ago gave it to us, and it's up here in my son's room. Here's why I'm talking about this piano today. Um, a couple months ago, I think it was back in December, so 5 months ago, I had this idea. I speak at a men's home for addiction recovery that's operated in conjunction with my church called Next Step. I speak there. It was every month, and this year I get to do it every week, which is pretty cool. I really enjoy going there. And I had this idea back in November, December that I bet these guys don't sing a lot in the home. I bet these guys don't get an opportunity to sing. I don't think anybody there really plays piano. So I put this thing in my car and I lugged it in there, plugged it in, and we sang Christmas songs. We sang Jingle Bells. We sang Joy to the World. We sang lots of fun stuff, and the guys absolutely loved it. But here's the crazy thing about that is before I brought it into the home to play for them, I was nervous. I was almost embarrassed about doing it. Nobody had ever done this before. It's a story I told myself, and it's probably a true story that nobody had ever done that before, brought a piano in and played it with the guys. I had never done this before, for that matter. I had never carried a keyboard in somewhere and just played with a group of guys without music, just for fun. And I found this to be a pattern of my life, is that I have an idea to do something, and then I stop. Because I've never done this before. I've never seen anybody else do it this way before. And it's as if doing a thing for the first time is reason enough to stop. Because I make it out to be scary. In my thinking, I make it out to be scary. Is it a scary thing? Not inherently, but I make it out to be scary. And here's the pattern of behavior. I think about it and I don't do it. I think about it and I don't do it. I think about it and I don't do it. And eventually I say, I've thought about this long enough. I'm going to do it. So I do it. That's what happened when taking the piano to the men's home. Is I thought about it a couple times and I finally gathered together the courage, if you will. And I took it in. I plugged it in. And I don't know what I made out to be scary about it, other than it had never been done before. I think that's really it. It wasn't like Todd, the executive director, was going to say, Derek, you can't play that in here. It's not like the guys were going to make fun of me for playing it. I'm not sure exactly what I thought was scary, other than I had never done it before. And it wasn't predictable. I was venturing into the unknown. Doing things for the first time is venturing into the unknown. And I think there's a condition in our society, maybe it's just a human condition, that we like predictability. We like stability. We like to know what's going to happen. And when I do something for the first time, there's a sense of instability, unpredictability. So I took it into the men's home and we had a blast. Oh, they loved it. And it was so much fun. I really, really enjoyed it. This is the pattern behavior. I have an idea to do something that I've never seen anybody do before, or that I've never done before this way. And my initial thought is to focus on what could possibly go wrong. My initial thought is to focus on, oh, that's probably not going to work out this way. Oh, that's never been done before. Oh, what are they going to think? What are they going to think? And I focus on what could go wrong, and it paralyzes me, or I allow myself to be paralyzed. When in reality, almost every single time that I've done something for the first time that I thought was scary, in actuality, it was really exciting. And it's this principle I've heard before, that fear is a mask for desire. Or as I kind of put it, scary is a mask for excitement. is that we make out the things that we're really excited to do, and we're so excited to do them, we create this nervous energy out of it. And so, but once I do these things, so some of the people that I most look up to right now in my life are people that the first time I went to lunch with them, I waited months to ask these people if we could go to lunch and have a conversation. And this is a real one. So my pastor, Rusty Smith, is a very personal guy, very approachable guy. I wanted to go to lunch with him. Now, I've been on the deacon board with pastor, and I've sat right next to him at deacon board meetings every single month. And because I had never said, hey, Pastor Rusty, can I go to lunch with you? Because I'd never done it before, I was nervous about it, and I put it off for months, probably 6 or 7 months. And I was sharing this with somebody, with my coach at the time, and she said, Derek, do you want to stop putting that off? Do you want to take action on this thing you really want to do? I said, I do. She said, and she committed me to asking Pastor Rusty to lunch. And we've gone to lunch several times now, and I've enjoyed every moment of it. And there's been other people that I've been nervous, scared to ask out to lunch because I see them as better than me. And that's another thing that I'm working through, seeing people better than me. Just seeing us as human beings together. But the pattern behavior is every time I do something for the first time, there's this initial nervous energy that I feel. And I realize, I'm really actually excited about this. That energy that I'm feeling, that I call nervousness, is really excitement. And every single time, I'm so glad that I did. This last time I took the keyboard to the men's home, I don't take it every week, but I take it some weeks. And I think I disconnected. I'm back. Okay. They're rough and tumble kind of guys. They're not trained singers, and they sing, and half of them are probably tone deaf, and I don't care. I love hearing them sing. So we were singing Amazing Grace. And they were singing, belting out, raw. One of them sounded like a foghorn. It was a little funny. And I said, how about if we sing it more contemplatively, more meditatively, thinking out the words? And I moved it from G down to E flat, so it's a little lower, a little more mellow of a key. And we sang it slowly. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. We sang it like that. And these guys who maybe never before had sung thoughtfully, meditatively, slowly like that, they couldn't stop commenting on what an amazing experience that was for them. I never would have been able to serve them in that way. I never would have been able to create that experience for them if I had never brought the piano in there for the first time. And so what I'm realizing is, doing things for the first time, I recognize I've taught myself to have this initial nervousness, and I get to choose how long I hang on to that nervousness. And instead of that nervousness, I can switch it out for excitement. And I realize that the things that we are most excited about doing are the things that are most unique to us, because they are truly us. They line up with who we are. And I think we create nervousness to do them because they are really an extension of who we are. And there's this fear of rejection, that if you reject me bringing the keyboard there, that's really an extension of who I am, and therefore you're rejecting me. The things that we are most nervous to do are really the things that we're most excited to do, because they are the most unique and most authentic to us. So what I'm doing is, when I have an idea to do something unique, do something authentic, I do it because I recognize the nervousness is just a way of thinking about it, and I can think about it differently. And if I'm going to be faithful with what God has given me, it requires me to be authentic with what God has given me, to do it, to take action, because nothing different is going to happen. I can't be faithful if I just sit and do nothing. So here's to doing things for the first time and seeing where they go, and being willing to see where they go, because we don't know where they're going to go. And most of the time, the possibilities of where they could go are beyond what we could imagine. That's where I'm headed.